We're learning that an Air India Mumbai-bound flight AI 887 returned to Delhi this morning after facing a serious glitch. According to sources, the right engine was shut down mid-air. Following this, a full emergency was declared for the flight at about 6:40 a.m. So wee hours of the morning is when this air emergency was reported. Another Air India flight that is at the center of this entire mishap that was averted, thankfully. Air India Mumbai-bound flight, this is AI 887. It was bound to return to the national capital from where it had taken off. It was, remember, going to Mumbai from New Delhi, and it had to make a turnaround and land back in the national capital because there was some serious glitch that was reported. And as per sources, we are learning that the right engine had shut down mid-air. Imagine the kind of calamity that this could have been, but thankfully it was averted as the flight was made to return to the national capital from where it had taken off from Delhi. And this is a 6:40 a.m. incident that we are learning of, which we're talking about a big mishap, an air emergency, an air mishap that has thankfully been averted. My colleague Simran Babar with all of those details. Simran, we are not yet over that entire shock of Air India flight that had crashed in Hyderabad, and now we are learning of something similar, but thankfully this was averted. But more details, what have you learned about this serious glitch and this right engine shutting down completely?
Well, Greya, absolutely. The details that we have so far, in fact, give us an account of what the incident is. This morning at 6:40, the emergency was declared after there were disruptions that were reported by the Mumbai-bound flight that was departed from the national capital. Air India has also given out a statement in this regard and officially announcing that the plane had some technical issues due to which there were the reporting of these glitches. So far, the cause of this technical glitch has not been right now revealed by Air India, but Air India also informed that due to this glitch that was reported, all the passengers were immediately disembarked from the plane, and owing to this morning, the flight returned back to the base, to the national capital. Let me also remind to the viewers that was Air India flight 887 that was in fact in this point this morning announced to be having the technical issues. Air India is also in an official statement has confirmed that there are investigations now going on in this particular matter, rather to also ascertain what could possibly be behind this very incident. While this information has come forward, Air India has also in this official statement confirmed that right now all the passengers continue to be safe. And Delhi airport this morning, owing to the fog conditions, reported that the flight conditions this morning could be also affected severely due to the fog that is prevailing.
We would start getting the passenger account, but anything that you're learning about, what is the kind of update that's coming in from the Delhi airport from where this flight really took off, and what arrangements have been made for the people who have had to land back in the national capital? They were in fact going and they were en route to Mumbai, but eventually that didn't happen. So when is the next flight out, and what are they exactly saying about this major glitch? How did it go unnoticed before takeoff?
Well, absolutely. That's a very valid and serious concern. And that's what Air India has not really touched upon as per the official statement that they have very carefully crafted. Going on to the very specifications only on the technical glitch, and that remains to be unanswered as we also continue to ponder more. The question also arises at this point of time, what nature of the serious and technical glitch was this? And that is why Air India will have to also be answering on these parts, as the serious problems and issues also would have been caused due to a delay in time and due to a delay of this nature of the incident to the passengers at large. While the passengers have been disembarked, right now at the airport there is limited information about how exactly the arrangements were made following that. But we do understand at this point of time that yesterday as well there were many flights that continued to be disrupted and cancelled. But this one in particular was the flight that actually was given a go-ahead by the ATC frequency for the takeoff, and after it took off at 6:40 a.m., the technical glitch was reported, due to which the plane was then announced that it had to be taken back to the runway. And that is where exactly the airline has to come in and also launch a serious investigation into this matter. Remember, as we have already seen this year, one of the most horrific air accident and the crash, and that was also the Air India flight. Now, serious concerns continue to be, in fact, arising out of the nature of these incidents that have been reported time and again,
right,
with passengers at this point being very, in fact, afraid of the technical glitches that are airline being reported, and also having issued very limited information about the serious nature of the incident.
Right, Simran, thank you so much for all of those updates. We are still awaiting what are the kind of arrangements that have been made for these passengers. But thankfully, air mishap has been averted. But serious questions still remain on why exactly was this aircraft allowed to take off despite that glitch. Now we're shifting our focus. Let's talk about the India-Bangladesh relationship that is spiraling out of control. While Bangladesh remains on the edge, India has rejected what it called misleading propaganda about a protest outside the Bangladesh High Commission in the national capital, saying that a small group of youths briefly gathered to protest the lynching of the Hindu man Deepu Chandra Das in Bangladesh in Maimen Singh, and they were in fact dispersed peacefully. However, Bangladesh Foreign Ministry has called it unjustifiable. They have also gone on to call this entire attack on Deepu Das as an isolated incident and not an attack on minorities, as has been widely reported, not just from India, but global voices, journalistic voices, and also geopolitical experts are raising this exact concern. Remember, this comes amid several Indian missions that have also been attacked in Bangladesh in the past 1 week. Now, in an interview, former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, has spoken on rising anti-India sentiment in Bangladesh and also gone on to blame the interim government under Mohammad Yunus for this entire mess and fiasco. She's gone on to claim that this hostility is being manufactured by extremists who the Yunus regime has emboldened. Meanwhile, the Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Hall at the Dhaka University has been renamed Osman Hadi Hall. We're now getting some breaking news on the broadcast. We're learning that a BSF Jawan has been detained by the BGB on Sunday and later returned. As per sources, the Indian Jawan had inadvertently crossed over into Bangladesh while acting against cattle smugglers. The dense fog made it difficult for him to realize about straying into the Bangladeshi territory. In fact, a flag meeting was later called and the BGB then allowed the BSF Jawan to go back to India. My colleague Arunima with all of those details. Arunima, even as the volatility remains between India and Bangladesh, there were certain claims of how the youth leader there, Osman Hadi, was killed by someone who had crossed over to India through land route. So these were the claims that were later rejected by the IGP in Bangladesh himself. But in the wake of all of that is emerging, we see this incident. This could have gone anyway.
Yes, and that's why I think the Indian establishment is glad that the BGB and the BSF, they are continuing to maintain regular contact with each other on ground and trying to diffuse situations and not allowing them to get out of hand. The DG level conference between BGB and BSF that happens regularly. Recently, the last edition also concluded in Dhaka. So I think all of that has also played a role in officer-to-officer level contact. This particular incident, like we just told our viewers, it was a team of BSF Jawans and officials who were chasing cattle smugglers. And this particular stretch where this incident happened is unfenced. So because it was unfenced and there was a deep fog cover, the BSF Jawans strayed about 100-150 meters into Bangladeshi territory while he was chasing the cattle smugglers, and he was subsequently taken into detention by the Bangladesh authorities. When the rest of the BSF team came back and told their seniors what had happened, a flag meeting was immediately called, and by about 3:30 in the afternoon on Sunday, after this flag meeting, BGB allowed the BSF Jawan to cross back to the Indian territory, and the situation was diffused.
Right, Arunima, thank you so much for all of those details. The important update that is emerging from the India-Bangladesh border. Thankfully, the BSF Jawan has been returned to India. We also have our colleagues Sami Al-Mehndi, who's joining us live from Dhaka. Also joining us is Siddhant Mishra. Sami, I'll come to you first. I was just mentioning about this entire incident, which is to do with the killing of Osman Hadi, and there were several allegations, sloganeering, anti-India rant that had emerged from Dhaka, from many parts of Bangladesh, on how the alleged killer had run off to India. Something that officially has been doused by Bangladesh. But what is the update as far as that anti-India rhetoric that is going on in Bangladesh, and after all that is concerned?
Well, first of all, yesterday a meeting happened in the Ministry of Home Affairs, and till that meeting, everyone was like the killer already flew in India and take his position, and he's staying there with safety. But just after the meeting, the entire rhetoric was changed because the law enforcement agency spokespersons, they said they don't have any concrete information regarding the killer. He could be stayed at India, he could be inside Bangladesh, he could be stayed anywhere, because they don't have any rock solid information that did he fled or not. That is one thing. And the other thing is, right now, just after the information spreaded out over everywhere, the Home Advisor was severely criticized, and the Inkilab Moncho, which is the platform of late Sharif Osman Hadi, it said they will take position in the Shahbag Square by 12 o'clock in the local time. And the slogans and the other things, it's like this is also kind of a mob activity type of thing, because people are doing whatever comes in their mind, whatever they're saying in the Facebook. Just some people see something and they came into the street. But the main cause of behind all of this is the lack of law enforcement, I must say, because the government or the law enforcement agencies haven't taken anything significant or anything which is really action oriented or effective, I must say, because this is not the first time any killing incident like Dipu Chandra Das or any kind of violent activities happen. It was happening since a very long time. But every time this sort of events are happening, most of the time the Home Affairs Ministry or the other people who are actually liable for answer, they are giving some speeches, or say we will take quick action, but we haven't seen anything in the media that which is any action which is really effective has been taken. So that is the problem, I must say.
Right, Siddhant, also this direct brazening stance that is emerging out of the foreign ministry there in Bangladesh, accusing India of not giving a justifiable reason, or what they have claimed to have been much more than a very, very fragmented protest at the Bangladesh High Commission in the national capital. Which way geopolitically is this headed? Because we do know how the relationship between India and Bangladesh is of extreme importance and rather crucial, particularly for Bangladesh, because of its dependency on India on many things. But the stance that they have taken so far speaks otherwise.
Well, that's right, Greha. You know, the scenarios have become such that anything which happens in Bangladesh, immediately the blame is shifted to India. In fact, you see that yesterday the IGP of the police came and said it on record that we don't have any evidence to prove that the shooters of Osman Hadi have left Bangladesh and have gone to India. Now, this entire protest, Greha, this entire drama campaign unfolded only on the basis of rumors that the shooters of Osman Hadi had links to Awami League, and he has escaped to India. After which anti-India slogans were raised at the Indian High Commission, the other missions in Bangladesh. Massive protest took place in Bangladesh, and without even properly investigating the case, Bangladeshi government also jumped to a conclusion and perhaps sought India's assistance, which means brought India into the picture. Now, the IGP of police has said that there is no evidence, no proof to say that the shooters have escaped to India. Perhaps it once again shows, Greha, that how Yunus government is playing into the hands of the radical groups. His decisions, his government's statements are well in line with the radical groups. So if today radical groups demand something, groups like Inqilab Mancha,
Okay.
groups like July Alliance, if they demand anything, immediately Yunus accepts it and issues a statement, etc., etc.
Absolutely.
So it shows that how his government is playing.
Absolutely. We have seen that in the case of the BNP leader, Colonel Abdul Haq also. Sadar, do stay on with us. We will continue to discuss the souring ties between India and Bangladesh. But right now, there is a more concerning thing that has emerged out of New Zealand. A peaceful Sikh Nagar Kirtan in South Auckland in New Zealand was disrupted by a group of protesters calling themselves true patriots of New Zealand. Now, there was a confrontation as far as that entire procession goes. We are just putting out these visuals, and this is what is happening in New Zealand, which is rather concerning for India. This is where they started performing a haka and then chanting "One True God" while holding a banner that read, "This is New Zealand, not India." The incident occurred on Great South Road, where around 50 protesters blocked the road, attempting to disrupt the parade. Police intervened, separating the two groups and ensuring that the Sikh procession continued safely. No injuries or arrests were reported. However, the Sikh community has obtained, we are also learning, that necessary permit that was required for that Nagar Kirtan to take place. Remember, the Nagar Kirtan is a traditional procession involving hymns and distribution of food. The protesters from New Zealand have in fact sparked a global outrage, particularly from India, and also concerns over religious freedom and communal harmony in New Zealand. Sikh leaders, including Sukhbir Singh Badal, condemned this disruption, urging the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, to intervene and also raise this matter with the New Zealand government.
ਨਿਊਜ਼ੀਲੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਪੈਂਟੇਕੋਸਟਲ ਕੱਟੜਪੰਥੀ ਸੰਪਰਦਾਇ ਡੈਸਟੀਨੀ ਚਰਚ ਇਹ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੈਰ ਨਿਊਜ਼ੀਲੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਸਨੀਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਵਸੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਧਾਰਮਿਕ ਰਸਮਾਂ ਰੀਤਾਂ ਰਿਵਾਜ਼ਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਬ੍ਰਾਇਨ ਤਮਾਕੀ ਦੀ ਅਗਵਾਈ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਇਸ ਕੱਟੜਪੰਥੀ ਕਬੀਲੇ ਦੇ ਕੁਝ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਨਗਰ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਰੋਕਣ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਧਾਰਮਿਕ ਮਾਨਤਾਵਾਂ, ਧਾਰਮਿਕ ਮਰਿਆਦਾਵਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਨਿਭਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੋਕਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਧਾਰਮਿਕ ਅਧਿਕਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਉਲੰਘਣਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਿਊਜ਼ੀਲੈਂਡ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਸਖਤ ਤੋਂ ਸਖਤ ਕਾਰਵਾਈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ।
ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਧਰਮ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ, ਪ੍ਰਸਾਰ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਐਂਟੀ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਇੱਕ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਮਾਹੌਲ ਜਿਹਾ, ਪਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੌਮ ਉਹਦਾ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਦਾ ਭਲਾ ਮੰਗਦਾ। ਹਾਲਾਂਕਿ ਨਿਊਜ਼ੀਲੈਂਡ ਤੱਕ ਕੋਈ ਘਟਨਾ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਦੇ ਹੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ, ਸੋ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਬਾਹਰਲੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਘਟਨਾਵਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਇੱਥੇ ਉੱਧਰ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਪਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੌਮ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਮਿਹਨਤੀ ਕੌਮ ਹੈ। ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੀ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕੇਂਦਰ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਨਿਊਜ਼ੀਲੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਹੱਕ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਪਸੰਦ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਆਪ ਵੀ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਉਸ ਖਿੱਤੇ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ, ਉਸ ਦੇਸ਼ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ।
And Siddhant continues to be with us on the broadcast. Siddhant, why has such a thing emerged out of New Zealand? How were extremist groups who ended up performing that haka in front of that religious parade by the Sikh community, for which they had permissions, by the way, how were they even allowed in that space?
Well, Greha, this protest took place outside a Gurudwara in South Auckland. This is what we've been told. In fact, the group of these people walked to the Gurudwara where the Nagar Kirtan was going on, and they started protesting in the Hakka style. And this is perhaps something which we are witnessing for the first time. Immediately, the cops intervened, and they were not allowed to march beyond a point. But this again raises question about the security of the minorities living in New Zealand. In fact, there is large number of Sikh diaspora which lives in New Zealand, have been contributing to the economy of New Zealand. Also, Greha, when Christopher Luxon, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, visited India, he, along with Prime Minister Modi, visited Rakabganj Gurudwara. So both India and New Zealand are free society, secular societies, and perhaps this is something very unfortunate which happened at the time of Nagar Kirtan in Auckland. Perhaps we are still awaiting response from the Ministry of External Affairs, whether they are going to issue some statement on what happened in Auckland. So far, we have not heard anything from the Indian government.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Siddhant. Nagar Kirtan disrupted by Haka-style protests in New Zealand, and we are closely watching all the details that have emerged from this incident, and we are waiting to see if the MEA decides to officially take this up with the New Zealand government. We go into a very short break with that.
For 20 years, we've been at it through power shifts and wars, financial upheavals, and inspiring triumphs.
India lifts the World Cup.
We were the constant in a whirlpool of change. For 20 years, we worked with one guiding philosophy: to chase the truth, to make sense. Celebrating 20 years of CNN News18 makes sense.
This is News18 Network. India's largest news network.
Information in an interview, former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, spoke on the rising anti-India sentiment that we're seeing in Bangladesh and has blamed Mohammad Yunus for this entire mess. Says this hostility is being manufactured by extremists whom the Yunus regime has further emboldened. As you know, the situation right now, the security climate in Bangladesh remains volatile to say the least. And in light of this, former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has spoken about this anti-India sentiment, saying that it is under the Yunus regime that this entire crisis is being manufactured by extremists whom Yunus regime has further emboldened. For more on this, we have with us Siddhant Mishra. Siddhant, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me on this broadcast. Now, Siddhant, we've been seeing what's really playing out in Bangladesh. These statements that have come out by former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, how do you assess the significance of this?
Well, that's right. So Sheikh Hasina has made a very valid point. In fact, this is exactly what India has also been saying, that now she has to say that these are the same extremist groups who the Yunus regime has emboldened. They are the same actors who marched on the Indian embassy, attacked media officers, attacked minorities, and who forced my family and me to flee for our lives. Yunus has placed such figures in positions of power and released convicted terrorists from prison. In fact, she also spoke about India's concern over the safety of its diplomatic missions and diplomatic staff in Bangladesh. In fact, she says that, I'm sorry to say, a responsible government would protect diplomatic missions and prosecute those who threaten them instead. In fact, Sheikh Hasina from the very beginning has been raising these issues, that how the convicted people are being released, those with the radical mindset, etc., have been released by the Yunus government, how the radical forces are taking the center stage in the politics of Bangladesh. And in fact, in this interview also, she once again reiterated that.
All right. Well, Siddhant, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on that.
This is News18 Network. India's largest news network.
Information in an interview, former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina.
Welcome back. We are now getting some more breaking news on the broadcast. We're learning that Mumbai Sky Getaway is set for a high-tech overhaul, facing surging passenger demand and operating as the world's busiest single runway airport. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport is now being prepared to boost aircraft movements using artificial intelligence. My colleague Aman Sharma with all the details that we are learning of. Aman?
Griha, as we all know, the Mumbai airport is one of the world's busiest single runway airport. There's a single runway and it handles almost 44 to 46 aircraft movements every hour. What is now being planned for the Mumbai airport is that because the pressure is rising, because the number of passengers, the number of flights is only increasing, that is one reason that Navi Mumbai airport is also coming up. The plan is to not build another runway at the Mumbai airport, but to increase the number of aircrafts and the flights which can land and take off from the Mumbai airport using an absolutely new system. The Airports Authority of India, as per the documents we have, is searching for a global partner to now put this new mechanism in place, which is intelligence driven. The details I have, which shows that it will rewrite how the planes actually land at the Mumbai airport, how the gap between the planes can be shortened, how to make it more efficient. The process is basically global technology providers will be providing this end-to-end solution for the Mumbai airport. The deadline is 2028, and this is a big project because the Mumbai airport itself is on an expansion mode. There's a Terminal 2 which is coming up. Other Navi Mumbai airport and the Mumbai airport also share a common system, and this new system will help both these airports to increase their efficiency. The plan is to move towards a precision-based air traffic control, also replacing the traditional estimation heavy methods for machine-based decision support so far. The plan, as per the documents I have, is to introduce an intelligent approach system built around time-based separation between two aircraft, allowing aircraft to be sequenced more accurately on their final approach when they land at the Mumbai airport. The result will be smoother landings, tighter yet safer spacing between the aircraft and operations that run closer to the airport's actual capacity. So today the Mumbai airport, as I was explaining, operates about 44 to 46 aircraft movements an hour. There are variations in spacing. The whole plan now is to increase the efficiency of what is the world's busiest airport, the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport in Mumbai. The system also aims to change Greha, giving the controllers advanced tools that can calculate optimal arrival times in real time. So, this is factoring in aircraft performance and other factors, but the less guesswork, more precision is how the top Airport Authority of India officials are telling me about this new system, which will be put in place by 2028. And, crucially, the system will also be integrated with the existing automation that is happening at the Mumbai International Airport.
Absolutely. Aman, this was much talked about. Will the passengers be getting some sort of a preview before 2028 when it is fully operational?
Right now, Greha, the plan is to invite the global technology partners to put this system in place. It will take some time because right now at Indian airports, we don't work like that, the way the new system is being envisioned. The whole idea is that since it's a single runway airport, the only option to increase the capacity of the Mumbai airport is to add another runway or come to this system. So the option that has been taken is not to add another runway, not to add more concrete, but go in the way of implementing intelligence, AI-based solutions which can help make the aircraft operations much more simpler, much more smarter. All the traffic is managed on this single primary highway right now, handling both arrivals as well as departures, and still 44 to 46 aircraft movements happen every hour at the Mumbai airport. So the effort is to increase efficiency through this new mechanism which a global technology partner will put into place. This will also help, as I said, the upcoming Navi Mumbai airport will also be helped by this, and that airport is also ready for operations very soon. So both the airports will be gaining from this new technology, for which Airports Authority of India is now asking global technology partners to partner with it.
Right, Aman, thank you so much for all of those details there. And with that, we are shifting our focus. Let's talk about what is happening in Tamil Nadu on the Deepam Rao. We are learning of a fresh twist that has now emerged from it. Security is high at Tiruparakkundaram Hill for Sikandar Dargah's ceremony, with 200 police personnel now deployed due to the ongoing disputes with Hindu groups over lighting of the Kartigai Deepam on a nearby pillar, creating tension and contrasting reports of the state restricting Hindu devotees despite the court orders. And this involves, remember, protests, arrests and differing claims over the ritual access.
This is the anti-Hindu, anti-Sanatan face of DMK. On the one hand, the DMK prevents Hindus from lighting the sacred Kartigai Deepam at the Deepathun, the sacred pillar. But on the other hand, it gives permission to the Dargah there to conduct its own ceremonies and to even raise the flag. Why this double standards? Do Hindus have no rights in their own country and their own state? And Congress is with this. Uddhav Sena is with this. TMC is with this. But in reality, all of them are anti-Hindu.
So remember, the Tamil Nadu Deepam Rao is only escalating, and this time there is added security with 200 police personnel that have been deployed very close to the Tiruparakanduram hill. This is for Sikandar Dargah's Santana Kudu ceremony that is about to take place. While these tensions remain over the lighting of the Kartigai Deepam on a nearby pillar, and that has been creating the tensions in and around the area. Communities from both the religious factions have been up in arms protesting that the Supreme Court, that the court in fact has ended up giving a nod, and why this sort of a blocking of Hindu rituals to take place. My colleague Poonima with all of those details. Poonima, in the face of the Sikandar Dargah ceremony, more additional deployment that we learn of, what are the reports that are emerging from Tiruparakanduram hill?
Well, tense situation prevails and heavy security presence in and around Tiruparakundaram region, considering that there have been protests and the situation has been unease ever since December 1st, when the petitioner had wanted to light the lamp at the Deepathun and had approached the court. The court had given permission, but Tamil Nadu government did not allow that to happen. Ever since then, on the one hand, the court cases are pending. On the other hand, protests escalate in Tiruparakundaram. Late last night, Hindu outfits and local people had staged protests when people had carried a flag to Dargah to hoist the flag at the Dargah. This is for the festival that they'll be celebrating. It's the Sandalwood Festival that will take place on the 6th of January. So protesters raised slogans saying, why is permission given for the other community when we are not given permission? So that was when they were detained. This happened late last night. Heavy security presence in Tiruparakundaram following this protest as well. Situation is unease as we speak. But till the 6th of January, this tense situation is going to continue, because 6th is when the festival will happen. People will celebrate at the Dargah, but you can see protests also escalate closer to the festival date as well, which is why 2,000 police officers have been deployed in and around Tiruparakundaram region.
So the Kartigai Deepam is not being allowed to be lit at the Deepathun, and while that is the status quo that remains despite the court order, Poonima, this sort of a festival, which is of course called the Santanakodu ceremony of the Sikandar Dargah, that has been allowed by the government in the state. What exactly happens in this particular ceremony by the Muslim community?
Well, it is celebrated at the Dargah and it's on the 6th of January, and before that they wanted to hoist the flag at the Dargah, and they say every year this happens. This is an age-old custom that they follow at the Dargah, and that is happening this year as well. But this year, why so much protest? Because it's for the same reason as to why Deepathun, which is where they wanted to light the Deepam, that was not allowed. Therefore, the questions being raised is, when we are not given permission, why give permission for the other community? Why this partiality and bias is the question that's raised by these Hindu protesters who staged protest late last night. But this is also an age-old custom, is what the Dargah officials tell us. This festival is a Sandalwood Festival that happens on the 6th of January at the Dargah. So celebrations will continue. So as a precursor to the festival, they usually raise hoist flags at the Dargah, and they wanted to carry the flag to the hilltop. But before that could happen, protests broke out. But Dargah officials say they got permission from the Revenue Department for this, and they did not they did not do this without any permission. Permission was given, and rightfully so. They did go and hoist the flag late last night with the police protection.
Okay, so permission was granted by the Revenue Department. What is the DMK really saying about this entire, now that the clash has become big? Now we are talking about another festival that is being talked of, while the entire, the Deepam lighting is not being allowed at the Deepathon. Do stay on with us, Purnima. We have Mr. Saravanan now joining us from the DMK. He is with us on CNN News 18. Mr. Saravanan, now things get rather murky. We are talking about another festival that has been celebrated years on end by the Muslim community, while something that was being asked by the Hindu community was not allowed despite the court order. What is the DMK stance on these growing protests that have emerged from Tirupurunkunduram hills?
Yeah, see, what's happening in Tirupurunkunduram is diabolic.
Okay.
The BJP wants to use this to create a communal tension, a communal rift in the state of Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is communally very syncretic, and we don't have any issues. We don't have any communal flagellations in the state of Tamil Nadu, but the BJP wants to alter that because they think only by poisoning the communal mood of the state, BJP can reap electoral dividends. That is why they are trying to use this Tirupurunkunduram issue. And Tirupurunkunduram, the temple and the Hindus who worship there have lit the Deepam on Kartigai Deepam Tirunal in the place where it has been lit for the last 100 years. Some Hindutva goons armed with a court order wants to light it near the Dargah to create communal tension, which has been thwarted by the Tamil Nadu government. Now functions are being held in the Dargah. So what's wrong? Why the BJP is crying foul? What is wrong in what has happened now?
So there is a court order that has emerged. You are talking about how there are several of these Hindu extremist groups that they want to deliberately communalize this entire aspect. Things have been peaceful in the Tirupurunkunduram hymn. I agree to your point. But when they have a court order, why is the DMK government not really accepting it?
Yeah, see, you are speaking about a court order by a single judge. And we have a court order by division bench of 2 judges, which says you cannot light the Deepam near the Dargah. So which order the government will follow? The single judge or a division bench? And the single order's judgment is under challenge. See, the most important aspect is this. Let's all not forget what Mr. Amit Shah said with regard to the Sabarimala controversy. He said courts should not pass orders which cannot be implemented. So, one thing for Amit Shah and one thing for DMK, is it? What is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander too. When Amit Shah will speak against the Supreme Court order in Sabarimala temple, but here the BJP goons will try to create a communal tension, communal rift.
Okay, but what do you plan to do about these protests at the area? What do you plan to do about these protests? There have been detentions of several of the devotees from the Hindu groups. They are not wanting the festival at the Sikandar Dargah to be allowed when the Deepam lighting is not being allowed at the Deepathon.
See, that's what, they are not devotees. They are Hindutva goons. And we know the government knows how to handle them. We will handle them in an appropriate way.
And what is that, sir?
The long arm of the law will take its course.
Okay.
What else do you think we will do?
All right, Mr. Saravanan, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. My colleague Purnima continues to be with us. Purnima, you speak about detentions. The version that's coming in from the DMK is that they are goons from the extremist factions. Hindutva goons is how they are branding the protesters. The devotees who are demanding that the Deepathon lighting be allowed, the Deepam lighting be allowed. What is the version that is emerging from the other side of the political spectrum, particularly from the Bharatiya Janata Party?
The BJP and the ADMK, both of them claim that the DMK is doing appeasement politics. They are keeping in mind the minority vote bank, which is why They are in fact supporting only one particular community as far as Tirupurukundram region is concerned, and with elections to go, they are just trying to play appeasement politics. This is the version of the BJP and the AIADMK, while the DMK says it's the BJP that's politicizing the issue. Blame game over this continues, but we'll have to wait and see how much of an impact this has on the DMK as well as the BJP in the 2026 elections.
Right, thank you so much for that, Purnima. We are now getting some breaking news on the broadcast. We're learning of Congress Parliamentary Party Chairperson Sonia Gandhi criticizing the NDA government's G-Ramji Act, arguing that it failed short of employment guarantees that had been ensured under UPA-era Manrega. She's also gone on to highlight that Manrega realized Mahatma Gandhi's vision of Sarvodaya by guaranteeing work based on actual demand, whereas the new act provides no legal employment guarantee and is limited to rural areas as notified by the union. So remember, Sonia Gandhi has come out with a full-on video talking about how the entire legacy of Mahatma Gandhi stands erased with this new G-Ramji Act. And now she is doubling down on the accusations and talking about how the G-Ramji Act falls short of the employment guarantee that was ensured in the past through Manrega. My colleague Pallavi with all of those details. Pallavi, this is the second time that Sonia Gandhi has spoken on the issue.
Yeah, this was an act which was passed under the UPA, and she headed the National Advisory Council at that point of time, which was a kind of an NGO pressure group. And this really was a bill which is very, very close to her heart, which is why the normally reticent Sonia Gandhi has spoken out. She came out with a video statement the other day on Saturday, and now, of course, this lengthy article which she's written in a national newspaper. But she's used the passage of the G-Ramji bill, which has now been notified by the President of India, which means it's become a law now in effect. She has also started attacking the Prime Minister and the government on accusing it of diluting all the constitutional principles. She's given a long list of bills, right to information, for example, the RTI, which again was another flagship program very close to Sonia Gandhi, all of which has now been diluted. And what is the main accusation that she's making while she's talking about the G-Ramji bill is that the constitutional norms have been violated, and this government also does not have any regard for any of the institutions of democracy.
Right, Pallavi, do stay on with us, or we will see what is the response that's coming from the Bharatiya Janata Party on this latest set of attacks, particularly from Sonia Gandhi, the Congress Party. We are now getting some more breaking news on the broadcast. Let's shift our focus to that. Corporate donations through electoral trusts have surged in the first financial year after the Supreme Court struck down the government's anonymous funding scheme via electoral bonds, with the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party emerging as the dominant beneficiary. Donations to Congress have halved to 522 crores in 2024-25. Manikam Tagore has now said that funding should be in correlation to votes received, and has gone on to accuse the BJP of monopolizing funding. So remember, this controversy will only grow even as the Supreme Court struck down electoral bonds. The one thing that has emerged after that is corporate donations through trusts, electoral trusts. And that also has BJP really dominating with the maximum amount of funding through these corporate donations and these electoral trusts to the Bharatiya Janata Party, while the Congress's donations have been halved to 522, and this is what the number really stands, 522 crores for the financial year 2024-25, and that's why the Congress is pointing fingers against the government of the centre about these electoral trust donations, the corporate donations that have been categorically reserved for the ruling party, the ruling alliance, particularly the Bharatiya Janata Party, that seems to be the largest beneficiary of these donations through electoral trusts. A concern that has been raised by senior Congress leader Manikam Tagore, who goes on to say that funding should be in correlation to the votes that a party has received, and gone on to accuse the BJP of monopolizing funding. So that entire row over electoral funding is back into the discourse yet again, even as the bonds have been struck down by the court. The corporate donations through trusts, electoral trusts, is in the discourse at the moment. My colleague Pallavi continues to be with us. Pallavi?
You know, Greg, this is exactly the point that the Congress party has often been raising. And in fact, Mr. Ajay Makan, who also happens to be the treasurer of the Congress party, made this point on the floor of the House in Rajya Sabha, where he said that, you know, the Congress party doesn't have any money because we don't have access to the kind of funds which are available with the BJP and with the central government. And much of the money is now being diverted. Remember, the electoral bonds judgment was given by the Supreme Court, and that was again hailed by the Congress party as a landmark judgment from the Supreme Court, which considered it to be illegal. But nothing seems to have changed on the ground, is what the Congress is saying. Manikam Tagore echoes the feeling within the Congress that it's not a level playing field as far as election goes. There is muscle power, there is money power, there is vote rigging. All of them coming together gives that edge to the BJP and also explains why they are winning elections. And Congress, which does not have any funds to carry out basic campaigning, is not able to win elections.
Right, thank you. In fact, Pallavi, the kind of accusation and direct pointed attack that's coming in from the Congress party now will see a lot of responses from the Bharatiya Janata Party. So far, we have flagged and underlined the statements that are coming in from senior Congress leader Mr. Manikam Tagore. What else are they really saying? Because this sort of an emergence really came back 1 week ago when we had started talking about these trusts, electoral trusts and the corporate funding through it, now that bonds are not in place. What is the BJP really saying about it?
See, the BJP has obviously rejected it. BJP says that much of the funding that they're getting is because they are popular. People want to give them their donations and their tax benefits or whatever may be the reason. But BJP is linking the large amount of funds at their disposal to a transparent procedure. Also saying that a large number of BJP karyakartas, not just in India but also abroad, who really want to contribute to a development of the country. And that is the reason why they are giving these kind of funding as far as the BJP is concerned. So they are not going to accept it. But look at the kind of figures which we have up on our screens here. The huge gap. I mean, it's almost over 80% for the BJP. For the Congress party, just at 8%, which is why the Congress will repeatedly make the point, where is the level playing field?
Right. Do stay on, Pallavi. We also have Arunima. Arunima, when Manikam Tagore goes on and speaks about how there must be a correlation to the votes received and that should define funding, what is the exact argument that the Congress is making with this?
Manikam Tagore has made a case for a private member bill. He's gone on to tweet after these, after the data came out, and he said if you're comparing the total, electoral funding that is coming in with the total vote percentage. For example, he says 36.6% votes that Bharatiya Janata Party has received. For that, 82% of funding and 21.2% vote share that the Congress has received. For that, less than 8% funding. So he's saying that there is a case made out for a private member bill so that there's complete transparency as far as democratic norms are also followed as far as electoral fundings are concerned. Someone who's receiving more than 80% of the funding, it's not as if they enjoy the confidence of 80% of voters as well. That's the case that Manikam Tagore made on behalf of the Congress.
And are they backing it up with any more arguments, considering they are directly attacking the Bharatiya Janata Party? And these are the figures, like you rightly mentioned, we are putting out for our viewers also on the screens. 82% that has been alone reserved for the BJP. But are they basing that argument with any kind of facts and figures, particularly on what and why is the BJP really only receiving such a funding?
See, not in this particular tweet, but we have heard the Congress-led opposition make this point earlier, that central agencies like Enforcement Directorate and Central Bureau of Investigation are weaponized by the ruling dispensation. Whoever gets an ED raid, and this point they made even when the Supreme Court was still scrutinizing the electoral bonds. So the opposition alleged that every time there's an ED raid or a CBI raid or an income tax raid against a corporate, there seems to be a correlation in the funding patterns, electoral funding patterns of that particular corporate. So this argument they have made in the past. Now, however, people like Manikam Tagore are calling for a private member bill, saying government is not going to legislate for complete transparency in the way elections are funded in this country. Maybe it is time for members of parliament to bring in a private member bill.
Right. Thank you so much, Arunima and Pallavi, for joining us. Let's now talk about the Maharashtra civic body polls. The BJP has secured the maximum number of seats in the municipal council and Nagar Panchayat elections in the state, which is far ahead from its alliance partners Shiv Sena and NCP, as well as the opposition Maha Vikas Aghadi. The BJP has emerged as the single largest party, remember, with 127 seats, while the Shiv Sena is ahead in 53 and the Ajit Pawar NCP faction is ahead in 32 of those seats. Together, the ruling Mahayuti has won from more than 200 seats across the state of Maharashtra. Now, in contrast, the Maha Vikas Aghadi has shown a comparatively weak performance, leading in just 53 municipal councils and Nagar Panchayats. We are now cutting across to these visuals that have emerged from Tamil Nadu, where TVK's Vijay is part of the Christmas Eve celebrations, and these are live visuals that we are putting out for our viewers, which has seen Vijay in attendance. And there you see Vijay on your screens. These are Christmas Eve celebrations that are taking place in the state of Tamil Nadu, with Vijay in fact spearheading that entire celebration. And there you see the Christmas tree lit by Vijay, and there's a huge crowd that has gathered there to be part of these celebrations ahead of Christmas, and this is being led by TVK's Vijay. My colleague Purnima Murli with all the details. Purnima, TVK Chief Vijay hosting this grand event in Tamil Nadu. More details from this, considering this is the third huge gathering that Vijay is holding, particularly after the Karur Stampede, and second one in Tamil Nadu.
Absolutely. In fact, this is an outreach program ahead of the Christmas event, where Vijay has invited over 1,500 people. So it's a Christmas celebration ahead of the Christmas, and political analysts say that this is also keeping in mind the minority vote bank that TVK is also now trying the outreach program. Interestingly, just 2 days ago, the DMK also had a similar event that was conducted, and political analysts say that this is an outreach program keeping in mind the minority vote bank. And as you said, this is the third event ever since the Karur tragedy took place, where there's a public gathering, and all adequate measures are in place by the TVK leaders to ensure that the event goes on smoothly. So 1,500 are participating in today's event that is being held at Mahabalipuram.
So essentially, it is an outreach for the Christian community in Tamil Nadu that is being done by Vijay. And ahead of Christmas, this becomes rather strategic and also political posturing, Purnima, by TVK and Vijay.
Absolutely. This is also interestingly done by parties like the DMK and the TVK ahead of Christmas. A clear outreach program keeping in mind the minority vote bank, and Vijay too in the run-up to the 2026 elections. Interestingly, TVK had not taken a stance on the Tirupurukundram issue, and they are also very cautious as far as the vote banks are concerned, which is why you can see a lot of silence by the TVK leaders and spokespersons on the Tirupurukundram issue as well. And political analysts say these are clear outreach programs, especially keeping in mind the minority vote bank, which is significant not just for the DMK but also for the TVK.
Purnima, things get interesting here because DMK has a vote bank from the Christian and the Muslim community, but Vijay belongs to the Christian community, and that is what is going to be changing a lot of dynamics in the political landscape of Tamil Nadu. Now that he has come out with this outreach, there was another Christmas celebration that was organized by the DMK and MK Stalin. So juxtaposing it with these celebrations that the TVK is now doing speaks volumes.
Absolutely. It was the DMK that had a similar event on the 20th of December.